I'm back, guys. Another week, and what a week! And I'm gonna do something a little different here. I'm gonna talk about the recaps, but I'm gonna focus on my Tennessee Titans last. So I'm gonna keep an eye on the time down here, and I'll put the link in the description as to what time I start talking about my review for Tennessee and the preview for the Titans Patriots game. So let's get to the second game of Wild Card Weekend, the Falcons and the Rams. I got this game wrong. I thought that youth would trump experience. Atlanta's defense is starting to come together. It's starting to come together very nicely. And part of me kind of saw it coming. When I watched the game and I saw the Rams were struggling to put up points, by the middle of the second quarter, I had a feeling that Atlanta was going to end up winning, only because the game had gone in their favor so much up to that point that I didn't think that the Rams were going to start firing on all cylinders in offense. Because the Rams are usually a team where when they fire on cylinders in offense, it usually kicks in very early in the game. So I believe that was a good win by Atlanta, and now they travel to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. We get the 6-seeded Falcons at the 1-seeded Eagles, and the Eagles are an underdog. First underdog 1 seed in NFL history. For good reason. Nick Foles. But don't put too much stock in what Nick Foles did in Week 17 against the Dallas Cowboys. Just don't. Okay? It's still a small sample size with him. He had a good game against the Giants, and he really needs his playmakers. He really needs his running game. He needs everything to roll Philly's way in this game. I can't go against Atlanta right now, though. This Falcons team is on a little bit of a roll, and I think especially with the changes that they've made on defense over the last couple weeks, I think they're going to go into Philadelphia, and I think they're going to knock out the Eagles, which is pretty impressive given how Philadelphia has looked this year. So, I mean, I know they're led by Nick Foles, but they're knocking out the team that practically was in the driver's seat for most of the season, en route to the Super Bowl until they lost their franchise quarterback. So, Atlanta should get the win. I think they cover the spread. If you were to give me, if I were to say a score, I would say something along the lines of Atlanta 24, Philadelphia 20. Should be a good game. But we'll see. Next up, hang on a sec, I got a message. The Jaguars ended up beating the Bills on Sunday 10-3 in a game where I would be shocked if both teams ended up scoring more than 16 points. And it was 10-3, lo and behold. Another game I got incorrect. I said that if LaShawn McCoy started that the Bills would get the win. But that's because, as the Bills coaching staff has done well this year. I got to give them credit. They made it to the playoffs. Good for them. The coaching staff, though, ironically, was the unit that let me down. You're telling me that Tyrod Taylor's going to throw the ball 37 times when it's a one-score game. What did I just finish saying in my last predictions video? You run the ball stubbornly. Don't worry about passing it. You saw those interceptions? It's because they were passing it too much. I don't care if LaShawn McCoy was hurt. Derrick Henry had 50 rushing yards on 28 attempts. All you have to do is keep this team out of the end zone, which this team technically should have. I saw that play action 4th down pass coming a mile away. So that's shame on Buffalo for letting them being able to convert that. This was a dud of a game. I mean, I kind of saw it playing out the way it did, but Blake Bortles is terrible. Missing screen passes. He runs the ball well. I'll give him that, but he's like a glorified Tim Tebow, only about 50 pounds lighter. Next, we had the Panthers that went on to take the Saints in a game that was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. The Saints ended up getting the win 31-26. Oh wait, I didn't back it up. Jags at Steelers. Steelers cover the spread. If I'm Pittsburgh's coaching staff, quite frankly, I don't care if I'm punting my first 2 or 3 or even 4 possessions. I don't care. Run the football every single play. I'm telling you, 12, 13 runs to start the game with Le'Veon Bell. And then heck, on the 14th play action, run. Make it look like they're going to pass the ball, and then the defense is like, oh, here's the pass, here's the pass. Boom, hand it off to Le'Veon Bell. 14 plays. You don't have to worry about this team scoring points on you. You don't have to worry about this Jacksonville offense. Did you see the way they played against Buffalo? Pittsburgh, you are one of the best defenses in the league this year. Run the ball 14 straight times to open the game. Make this team... I know it takes your receivers out of the game, but make this team stack the box early. That way you could find room to pass. And when you start finding room to pass, work your way from 100% running the ball and work your way to about 60-40 in favor of running, passing. Ben Roethlisberger should get, if they're in the lead, Ben Roethlisberger should pass the ball 20 times, max. I'm not kidding with this. I have seen it. I know how to beat this team. You just stubbornly run the football. Forget about passing it. Trust me. Tyrod Taylor threw the ball 37 times for Buffalo, and I was very disappointed that they had him drop back that much against that secondary. I know Calais Campbell has cleaned up a lot on that defensive front in terms of run stopping, but Pittsburgh, even if you go 1st and 10, 1-yard run, 2nd and 9, 2-yard run, 3rd and 7, 3-yard run, and you punt it, you better believe Blake Bortles isn't going to do anything against that defense. So even if you punt it 3 times, score's still going to be 0-0 because there's no way the Jags are going to be able to do anything on offense. They're the most inept offensive team in the playoffs that I've seen since aside from last season's Brock Osweiler Texans mess when Houston was practically had byes for 2 weeks on the way to the divisional round. Now, Steelers win this game if they execute that game plan, and they win this game 27-17. Also, I'm calling out Maurice Jones-Drew. I know he's not going to see this. If you watch this clown, though, on the analyst site, with the power ranking site, never before have I ever met someone so biased about the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that he played on, literally made me want to literally punch him in the face. Probably get my ass kicked. I mean, he's an idiot. He had the Jaguars as the 2nd best team left in the playoffs. The 2nd best team. He had this Jaguars joke ahead of Minnesota, ahead of New Orleans, Atlanta, Pittsburgh. That's sad. Lot of biasism coming into play. He just doesn't want to admit it. Steelers should get the easy win. Now we'll go to the Panthers-Saints game. Saints won. Panthers were competitive. Panthers' offensive line couldn't hold up on that last play, which is very disappointing. You should have at least given Cam 2 seconds back there in the pocket to heave the ball downfield. Now, Saints at Vikings should be a very good game. This was a week 1 matchup last season. This season. And quite frankly, I almost don't know who to pick. Honestly, I'm going to go with Minnesota here. They're at home. The Saints, as good as they've been this year, sometimes they can be inconsistent. And the Minnesota Vikings, with Sam Bradford at quarterback, were able to thoroughly move the ball on this team. And this was before the Vikings discovered their running backs. But this was also before the Saints discovered their running backs. Oh, this game's going to be tough. It's going to be a good game, but this is a tough game to call. I'm going to stick with Minnesota. It's like 10 p.m. over here. I'm going to stick with Minnesota. It's going to be a very good ball game. We're talking a 23 to 17, 23 to 18, 19, 20 kind of ball game. So, hey, we'll see. Now, I'm going to put this in the timestamp for about 11:30. Tennessee Titans at Kansas City Chiefs. What did I just say in my last video? What did I just get through telling y'all? Some of you listened to me. Thank you. To those who listened to me in my last picks video, thank you for trusting in me time and time again. I did not pick Tennessee straight up. I picked Kansas City. Tennessee proved me wrong. Twice now. That's 2 weeks in a row. This Titans team has proved me wrong. Impressive. But I at least said that they would cover the spread easily in this game. There's no way that I thought the Chiefs were going to win this game by 9 points. It blew me away that the line was even that big to begin with. Now, people want to talk about, oh, the refs handed you that game. Oh, the Mariota fumble. He did fumble. Of course he fumbled. It was completely obvious that Marcus Mariota fumbled that football. I'm going to be the first person to admit that to you. But if you don't think that Travis Kelce fumbled the ball when he got hurt, the fact that they didn't even take it upstairs to review the play under 2 minutes is beyond me. Because I believe unbiasism here. You guys know me. I'm one of the biggest Titans critics. I'll be the first to tell you anything about this team, negative or positive. Travis Kelce, I believe, fumbled the football. My humble opinion. They did not check it. They marked the spot 3 yards back in the line of scrimmage. We had to waste a challenge because of the dumb officials' stupid spot placement. The Mariota fumble on the 2-point conversion, that was going to get called 9 times out of 10. That play was going to get blown dead 9 times out of 10, guys, because he was getting swung around. He got swung around once. He got swung around twice. Whistle blows. Swung around almost again, and then the ball comes out. Okay, stop complaining about that 2-point conversion, because he was, oh my God, that play was long over. He wasn't getting out of that. He was in the grasp of the defender for a good 6 or 7 seconds. Next, Kansas City did get robbed on Mariota's fumble, and didn't help them that their receivers dropped a lot of passes. You can't blame Alex Smith for this game, guys. You just can't. The guy completed, what, 25 or 24 of 33 passes? 3 of them were in Tyreek Hill's hands, and he dropped it. 2 were in his, I think, backup tight end's hands, and they dropped it. And 2 other of his passes were throwaways. Let's do the math here. 3, 5, 7, 31. 2 of his passes were off target. 1, if you include the fact that the last play on the game, 4th and 9, even though it was a little overthrown, it was still in the hands of the receiver who was going to catch the ball. So Alex Smith, you can't blame him for this game. And last I checked, I said that if Kareem Hunt ran for less than 80 yards and Tennessee ran for over 100 yards, guess who was going to come out with a win? Tennessee. I was right. Didn't pick the Chiefs, but I still was right. And now we have the pleasure of playing the New England Patriots. For any of my fellow Titans fans who watch this channel, you're going to know, most of you guys know who watch this channel anyways, I give it to you straight. I don't bullshit. I call it as I see it. And my heart is telling me one thing about this game. My head is telling me another thing about this game. I'm going to start with my head here because I want to end on my heart. My head says that every single year in the divisional round, the New England Patriots, no matter who they play, wallop their opponent. Fact. And as a fan of someone who has always been on the sidelines, who has not been in the playoffs, that's what I mean. As a fan of a team that has been able to watch the playoffs as a neutral fan for the last 9 years, I could tell you that every single year, the hell is that in my laptop? Every single year, when I see the Patriots in the divisional round and they're going up against the Tim Tebow-led Broncos, they're going up against the Brock Osweiler-led Houston Texans, they're going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Who else did they play in the division? I know they played the Texans again in the divisional round. I think twice. I think the Patriots in the divisional round. Let's do some research here. Patriots seasons. Let's see. Let's take a look. Divisional play. Okay, that's what it was. 2011, it was the Broncos led by Tim Tebow. 2012, it was the Texans. 2013, it was the Colts. 2014, it was the Ravens. 2015, it was the Kansas City Chiefs. Last year, it was the Texans again. Let's go through those games, okay? As a neutral fan, every single one of those games, completely, it was New England. They were going to be the ones to win, and everyone knew that. Nobody gave the Broncos a chance. And I looked at that Patriots-Broncos game with Tim Tebow and said, Patriots are going to crush them. Against the Texans next year, Patriots are going to crush them. Colts, Patriots are going to crush them. Yep, that happened too. Ravens, maybe it could be a close game. They always play tight games against one another in the playoffs. It was a close game indeed. Year after that, there was slight hope that Kansas City could get the win, but New England jumped out to a 27-13 lead and eventually won 27-20. And then last year, Texans, Brock Osweiler, they were going to crush them. No problem. And now that I am the fan of a team that is in the same situation as Denver, Houston, Indianapolis, Baltimore, and Kansas City, if I were a neutral fan, I would say the exact same thing. If I were another Keith, some Joe Schmo who's an Arizona Cardinals fan, and I'm looking at this game, bet your ass I'm taking New England. Titans? What? Are you kidding me? Beating the Patriots? No. That's one thing my head is telling me. Another thing is Tom Brady owns this Titans team. He always has. Patriots don't lose against the Tennessee Titans. They don't. I mean, everything is stacked up against us in this game. We're probably going to get crushed. Honestly, probably going to get cremated. I'm content with anything that happens this year because coming into this season, for those of you who have paid attention to me for a long time now, I said that the best case scenario for the Tennessee Titans in 2017 was to make it to the divisional round. In a year where they just sleepwalk on offense all season long, for them to still get to the divisional round, That's impressive, regardless of how you slice it. This team, this team played about half of their potential wise, and they still made it to the divisional round. I'm going to start talking about this game with my heart now, though. Okay. And for those of you who follow me closely, for those of you who take a lot about what I say about Tennessee, listen carefully, please. I'm not going to make a case here as to why I believe the Titans are going to win in Foxborough against the Patriots, okay? I mean, I can hope all I want. You better believe that I hope that we could do it. And you also better believe that there's a little part of me inside my mind, like 5-10% part of my body that thinks, yes, we will get the upset. But guess what? It's not going to happen. It won't happen. Like I said, I'm content with it. But let's think for a second. The New England Patriots are good at what? On offense? Yeah, they have a good offense. They have the 29th ranked defense in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. This is a team that has struggled to stop the run. They struggle against rushing quarterbacks. You look at Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson even last season. You look at Alex Smith in week 1. You look at Cam Newton earlier this year. The Patriots struggle against quarterbacks who scramble. Teams that are also good at running the ball, they give fits. DeMarco Murray is not playing for the Titans in this game. This means that Derrick Henry, the man who ran over the Chiefs' defense for over 200 yards from scrimmage, almost 200 yards from scrimmage, is starting again. And I guarantee you that this game is not going... Well, okay, this is my heart talking, remember. This game I don't think is going to be the blowout that some people think it is. Listen to this. So, you look at the Patriots' opposition over the last couple of years in the divisional round, there's one common denominator to all of them. And it's that a lot of those teams, I don't want to say didn't deserve to get to the round, but were incredibly hampered by either quarterback play or just team play. 2011, Tim Tebow, are you kidding me? 45-10. The Broncos were one of the worst teams in NFL history to ever make it to the playoffs. For them to win against the Steelers was a shocker. That's all. That's the furthest that team was going. Because the Patriots put an end to that real quick. Houston Texans twice. Last year's Houston Texans, much worse team than what this Titans team is right now. I don't care what anyone says. Okay? The Texans were practically given a bye into the divisional round when Derek Carr went down with an injury for the Oakland Raiders. Once the Texans found out that their first round opponent was the Oakland Raiders with, who the hell was it? Connor Cook, I think was his name, starting. First game that he ever started, I believe, or something like that. Jeez, come on, guys. The number one defense, the Texans had a very good defense. They had like the number 1 or 2 defense in the league last year. Couldn't do anything on offense because Brock Osweiler was a terrible quarterback. Now Tennessee's not the number 1 or 2 ranked defense in the league, but this is a team that since the Steelers game, they've been a top 5 defense since the Steelers game. I think, actually, based on the top of my head, the Tennessee Titans have only given up 2 second-half touchdowns in the last 7 or 8 games. 2 total. Didn't allow any points against Kansas City. We allowed a defensive score against Jacksonville. We gave one up against the Rams, I believe. I think it was just one. I could be wrong, but so there's one. Game before that, we ended up playing the 49ers. I believe, off the top of my head, the Niners kicked a lot of field goals in the second half. Game before that, the Arizona Cardinals kicked 4 field goals in that whole game. Week before that, Houston Texans scored 10 points in the first quarter, scored 3 the rest of the game. Indianapolis Colts had a 10 or 13 to 3 lead going into halftime, scored 3 points the rest of the game. I'm telling you, Dick LeBeau halftime adjustments. I know Tom Brady's been good against Dick LeBeau, but Dick LeBeau is a smart defensive coordinator. He's adjusted, and he adjusts year in and year out, and he's going to get Tom Brady at some point. I truly feel that. But anyways, you look at all of these old teams that this Titans team this year, they weren't given any passes. This is a team that had to earn its way to this spot right here. Look at the teams that the Titans have lost to, okay? Arizona's not a bad team. They finished 8-8. San Francisco at the end of the year, they were a very good team. The Rams are a very good team. Tennessee lost to a lot of good teams this year. We lost to Pittsburgh. We lost to Houston back when they had Deshaun Watson. You can't look me straight in the eye and say that that wasn't a good team with Deshaun Watson. The Raiders, back when they were Super Bowl favorites, I thought. Good team. Right now, I believe we would beat the Raiders. But, seriously, guys, Tennessee is 5-2 against teams with winning records this year. Chiefs, Jaguars. That's 2 of the teams in the AFC playoffs. We played the Steelers already, and we're playing the Patriots. So that means we would have played 5 games against teams that made the AFC playoffs. This isn't including Baltimore. This isn't including Seattle for the NFC side. This isn't including the Rams either. Tennessee is 11-4 in their last 2 seasons against teams that finished the season with a winning record. They've only lost 4 games. Raiders and Texans last year, very early in the season. And then the Steelers and Rams this season. So this is a team where when they're matched up against a very good team, they usually pull it out. Shockingly enough. What else am I going to say? Oh yeah. Okay. So let's look at some of the opposition Tennessee has beaten this year. Okay. Hypothetically, let's say this game was Seahawks at Patriots. Good game, right? A lot harder to predict. What if it was Chiefs at Patriots? See, we all know that would be a lot harder to predict. How about Ravens at Patriots? With the history of those 2 teams in the playoffs, I would think that would be a very tough game to predict. Jaguars at Patriots even. Yeah, that'd be a very tough game to predict. With the way the Jags play defense, at least. What else is there? Let's see. I said Kansas City, Jacksonville, Seattle, Baltimore. Okay. Yeah, Tennessee went 5-0 against those teams. So I don't want to hear anything about, if New England was playing Seattle, Kansas City, Jacksonville, or Baltimore, it would be a better game. We get the matchup against the lowly Titans. The only reason everyone thinks this is going to be such a blowout is because the Tennessee Titans have no pedigree. They have no history against the New England Patriots. They don't play this team. The Patriots are the last team in the AFC that has not played Marcus Mariota for a full 4 quarters. They have not played Marcus Mariota yet. This is a completely different Titans team than the 3-13 squad they rolled out in 2015 against this team. The 2015 squad that had Zach Mettenberger starting for 3 quarters. In a game that was almost a 27-19 game in the 4th quarter. In Foxborough. I know I could go on a lot of tangents. Tennessee's running game should gouge this team. Time of possession. The Patriots have struggled recently, especially on offense. Let's see. Let's look at their point totals. Patriots schedule over the last couple weeks. I mean, they destroyed the Jets, but I mean, look at who's starting at quarterback for them in Week 17. 26-6. 37-16 Buffalo. Bills are the Bills. This is a team that the Patriots know and just thump regardless. Patriots don't know Tennessee. That game also was a one-score game going into halftime. Steelers-Patriots. Steelers had a 7-point lead on this team going into halftime. Dolphins-Patriots the week before. Miami beat this team. Patriots-Bills the week before. Bills scored 3. Patriots only scored 23 points in that game. Patriots point totals the last couple weeks: 23, 27, 27, 37, 26. Still, that's good. You're in the mid-20s for most of those. But if they're being held by the Jets, Dolphins, Bills defenses for in the middle between 20 points, Tennessee's defense was ranked 12th or 13th in the league and has one of the best rush defenses in the NFL. Not the best covering tight ends, but this is a team that shuts down their opponents in the second half, point-wise. I'm giving you every reason to believe right now that the New England Patriots are not going to cover the spread. This should be a closer game than people think it's going to be. Lord knows I want it to be. Half of me is like, we're going to get blown the hell out. The other half of me tells me that there's a chance that this game will actually be competitive. And to all of you Patriots fans out there saying, we're going to roll right over Tennessee, watch yourself. Didn't you say the same thing about the New York Jets in 2010, led by Mark Sanchez? Case point. Those are my picks. I'm picking New England to win this game. What's the score? 31-20, 31-21. That'll be the score. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Go Tennessee Titans.